Ensoko TV uboroso bw'umugusi umuruburi kubwatya nabo kurigirirwa na kiro muntu.
Rigere ya Ensoko TV ni mwambie dengi yana nditokumirana asiri tukeriga lya 15 na kabira sumutinyu 5 na 3 mwaka bwechile fuibere merongebere 5 na rimo eikienyi ya chakire ritukuneria Jumatatu nukugena kwari buna kwabokire buyeki yawe ya chakira sinchira erendo ngena boigo nogendera tukubwati Ensoko kuro chinsa 12 cheke mambi gwekera bonga nandi chiragire chinsa inye enga kitoko chaka murubiro yega bwe Etorobini go chakira bono gwikaisano ne mochi abono mubaso asoko kwanira kumorekera ayagenderete yaetere nabwega yarache kubwati tosange asobwa memambia bono wetera senchira yo mutanda bwekerero asensemo ya YouTube Ensoko TV nabwo wetera senambia mawasiliano iwe kunya weta insabo igo chaka ko tume ujumbe yago enyinge mambia ya bono nabwo igo kero twaranyo lirabira 3 agendera mambia ya bono buna ere botambe ritukeriga Jumatatu ntochiko swa sensemo yechigo sori erigo kwanira kumurikira asobwagare ayabetka korekana ase weekendi engima bali nebirero bali no mogoko lakini ayonse ngochi toriko ya kwanira nyuma ya emambia ya bono ase umurubiro yiga bwe Etorobini tusanga asobwamo Eliane Ishmael Mogere. Asumu chakane mambia ya bono abanyari bari masaba bamenyetemi umucho Nairobi nigo bakolire gikaro asaba kwanera alia abatugetie anene basaba murekeire obokorori bumubunge bwensemo ye bunge ya nyari bari masaba Daniel Manduku asaba go bakwanire nchira baguchya kweroberio na kwerobera na gochamo bosio bobochori bore bosi bwo mwaka bwechele fuibera merongebere 5 na kabere bune kubwatia asemambiyiga.
Rere tumiranaga guno munyari bari omenyete Nairobi na diaspora counties kuria kumanyanga progress kitu akorire koru twanyore tugurai tware go discuss torenga ingiki akorekana nyari bari na ndengi kitara akorekana then tumanya konyore njira tokwenda gujimutuge kogera abantu baitu ngagari ngonye ntomenye tinga chikura jitu ninka togwaka ara utwacha Nairobi kurigia so twakwanire binte binge twakwanire igoro ye chipara cheito ingiki akorekana sa mangana ye chipara amangana ye chipaseri twakwanire na kichibwena te koenanu amangana ye ya masomo ya bana baito twayakwanire so eto kurigia njira na intubuno monyari bari diaspora tubwenete kwebanga tokore civic education asa abantu baito ngagari abantu baita banga ngagari mbamaiti na kyoborai bokogenda ekera bachoriro murai na kiabwenete okora inkiabwenete okora ngakiki na ndenga kichiaki chia abantu baito ngakire so na twajira on board buno monyari bari ore diaspora torosie team ekugwaki andi na montonde bwensi ogochikochora kwa omo MP omo MCA egumende bwo mugavana orova buno monyari bari nyasabo diaspora.
Tumekuwa na discussion ambayo ni mzuri, hatukurushiana maneno, lakini tumeaddress issues ambazo ni very major, like for example tumeangalia mambo ya bursaries, tumeangalia mambo ya roads, tumeangalia vile tunaweza tumia miundo mzingi yenye iko katika Nyaribari Masaba kuweza kuipeleka mbele, kama vile sile polytechnics Mwambi was able to address, sile tuko nazo tunaweza patia watoto wetu short term skills ya kuweza kusaidia vijana wetu, because unemployment is on the rise, na ni kwamba sisi kama viongozi tumekuja pamoja for the first time, tumeweka our political differences kando, lakini kuaddress mambo ya watu wa Nyaribari Masaba, na tukasema ya kwamba vulnerable societies of Nyaribari Masaba lazima waangaliwe sawa sawa. Karibu kila speaker aliweza kuaddress hiyo maneno ya kwamba Qualification ya kusaidiwa ni kwamba wewe unahitaji. Kama wewe ni orphan, kama wewe ni maskini kupita kiasi, hatutaki kusikia ati waheshimiwa wanapigiwa simu ati tuchangie. Hapana. Mheshimiwa anafaa kuangalia hiyo maneno kulingana na vile speakers wamezungumza, na tumeweza kureact in different ways. Hata PA wa mheshimiwa ameweza kuzungumza, lakini tumemchallenge, tumemtuma kwa mheshimiwa aende ampelekee ujumbe yenye tumempatia ya kwamba Nyaribari Masaba is at a sorry state and we need to improve it ASAP.
Today we have so many idle young people who are not doing anything for themselves. First of all, identity is very important. And number two, if you have identified yourself kama umesoma, kazi hatukuchukua watoto wetu zure waende kupata kazi wafanyie wengine. They can even create their own work. Na saa hii ndio, that's why I said earlier on ya kuwa we need watoto wetu bae wege ndogo skills biyo mokono gasio mokono iriara nyara gukora iri ndanya ole gipato kiae yuja kumukonya mambi egeko gara guisaranza tiri gokonya lakini gokoramo niri ya muhimu lakini ngokora na ande ngoteba iga onze kurigereria manifesto boniga ye presidential candidate ya gusi oyo roboniga agoteba iga the most important asset you can give to your child is education. Besides sobole mumboro ebintu ebyonsi mbiro ni education. Kara kwa moire education kwa moiro bokombe ashikolem. Kara kwa moire education kwa moiro bongaini ashikwerigeri. Tiga abana bagande berigeri. Na handa kara bakwerigeria abayiboli babusubole bagande berigeri. Serikali ye ira abantu bakorunga oli what skills asakurunga Saudi Arabia. Atuanyoranga bagusi bagenda barenga bakemono because bakora the cause and yons ya skill. Igonda yetakota komentana mangana aliye komokoma kwananga abai mwesimiwa aligereli on these short courses. Chiko konya abana baitonya employment either in Kenya or outside Kenya. Iga usise isko ya Kenya. Igenda nakenda yetakota bangeringa una togendete tu iwana nirega no togendere no bomo ntonya kuruana tokole ibintu bina bitakeire yali bali ite ekine. Umwesimiwa agenda up is game. I make sure that technical institution jiria na village polytechnics when they are supposed to collaborate babwaterane no muntu kurugwe governor babwaterane biyaba make sure ngango kora jiregas chikonya abana abayiga bemeroka na sande istara korwa
ntuate walitangani amangana hard copies bursary application we should be done away with. We should go online to improve on accountability and transparency and the loss of forms when they have been applied for. Kabere, to atevire we must generate employment starting from the constituency level. Leaders must work with the people on the ground to have sensitization so that how do we create employment by the leaders themselves, starting programs which are tailored towards generating employment. Again, the connectivity on electricity is still far below the expectations because at this time and age, you don't expect a house or to use still the lantern. Because even oil, you see the way it is going with the Gulf crisis, it's going to be even more expensive for the common people to afford a Gwerendego. So we should have the electricity, connectivity, speeded up and followed very, very closely so that we have our people on a grid. Then we also talked about sanitation in schools. It is wanting in primary school and secondary schools. Then we said retention of students in school, especially day schools, must start with a feeding program so that students don't go to look for lunch at home, which is not available. They have lunch in school, then you have a high retention, then you can have motivated students to improve on the academic performance.
Again, to kiagera tuachamo, ntoche tivuna abantu ba 1 term, 2 term, goseki. Igo tuacha kurigereria amagenderero anyalibali Masaba ase jumra. Na ende tuacha korotebanga ekero toguchiko chora barai. Tigato chora barai bago chikoleta amagenderero ase nyalibali masaba ebe nomo MCA ebe nomo women rep ebe nomo MP kero kende gionsi keri togo chikochora tobeke nga igo togo chikochora abantu bago chikora koreta amagenderero ase usi yaito na anene nyari bali masaba
una tuacha asiri tokori ale arna gokigwe aba aspiring MP aspiring MCA bonsimbara twagambira mangana maya ayara tokonya se nyari bali masaba wansere ward paka e constituency level ntoigweta na nto abantu baminto na ndetika tuguseramo oyo kobori egesako bori koruto sikane nto nyari bali masaba nto tagetia mangana agonism we need peace kero montali kura aye asobu ororo oyo gochorru mwananchi oina ero goraki na ero chorru tokonya abantu oito banyari bali masaba
ese rietangoro ku Lazarus Sanganyi oina eri personal assistant yo mojumbe onyari bali masaba okoro honorable Dr. Architecture Daniel Owoka Manduku oyo saviri nando enderete go savu nande twachire korigereri moso ekerenga ke meeting ye inki mojumbo itata koreire ama ene twanyarire korigereria mangana ye chipara twanyarire korigereria mangana ye stima twarigereiri bakanonye biri bitari ese docket yaye buna chibohol korema bono buna tuomera naga ndete gotebi munyari bari otorigerete kurunka gari aba n'abanyari bari bacha amokuruga iga Nairobi ese kerenge kemo bataka kumanya inkyo mheshimiwa akorere Manduku neke maene buna representative yae na nyarire koerera manganaya ari akorire na ari are ange gokorekana bune pare ito twakwanera ya keroka ibachokia mukama iyerange muno ne president yeito omheshimiwa William Ruto oyo obeiro mustari omutu koreta magenderero ese Kenya yabita yonsi ese igo emekutano bune yete basa koba yo mwerio na boto kunyara konyera kugochamo na tutaweza kushukuru kwa sababu viongozi ambao waliweza kamati andalizi ni jambo muhimu ambalo mmeweza kufanya na sisi kama ofisi ya mheshimiwa Manduku iwapo mtatuita tutaweza kuitikia wito ili tuweze kuwaeleza kile ambacho tumeweza kufanya kule Nyaribari Masaba kwa sababu nyinyi ndinyi ambayo mliweza kumpa mheshimiwa nguvu ya kuweza kutenda aje bunge awawakilishe aweze kuona ile kazi ambayo the executive are doing na legislation ambayo ameweza kufanya like the road amendment bill ambayo ameweza kuwa katika mstari wa mbele. Kwa hivyo nawashukuru sana na anda Banyaribari esemore muroche binta akorire JSS classes na magendera akorire munyaroche biamono
nimbwate interest to know nonya kimenyete diaspora iga Nairobi nimbwate interest kumanyanga umurayone togo chigocharo sogo chigochorwa ngakia guchigotwakilisha o maene kurumaega iga twabeire togochora barai totally gotwara research consortiums but this time round I think we have started on a right footage. We are going to mobilize our people obanyali bali bamento wakuje tuongelele ni kiongozi yupi tunataka kama ni mheshimiwa Manduku ako ndani kama atarudi mara ya pili wananchi wataamua kama ni mwingine anakuja mwingine wataamua so tupendane sisi wote and this time round I want to address ladies women banyali bali Masaba intuna abantu tosikire na abantu tubwatiriete iskoga abangina bamento mubasa gutumika koegwe chumbi isiringi sana around yega nino abagake bamete nga you are very weak nga inwe mwairu isiringi sana igo moko mnyoka makolimi around yega ntoche toche gusi tokwana na bangina bamento chinyeruka chito chikeire chinga kichoko bwata chikora gose gwaka elinde tomanyanga ekiongozi gitu nkire kitogo chora asa yamake no kabe the weapons ama the agents bokoira this good message to our people baikerensa alia asengako abantu bamanye obumaene bono nturi chugwaka kura abantu kuna abantu baliri moso meti abana abarai baino nao bara abande embaraza ngiwete nao bagagigetange 40 lakini rende oyo monero koiro borai to maintain peace no gunism ntobasa koramana kuna tuachira tuanchanire na tuakonera mangana menya
ime ya nyaribari ntutaite empowerment tuanyorenga abantu baitu nyaribari me nyaribari empowerment yoro na batubwata abarai na batubwata abantu baitu bari chiobis lakini mbali kwenyora abantu baitu bari turike wango gense ebyombe mbiro byabangina we have women groups we have youth groups lakini ntoranyo abarai baitu mbali kwembawa ebyombe ebi ebichani oroche basomete bakochi skuru lakini abo bari tu bosaigo ekiagera mbaranyo murai okobwato okoboko igo twengo sanga barai baito babwate ebichana okoboko babwate abangino okoboko nabaka baito nabantu bonsi elinda abantu bonsi tobemba ward nyali bali emesa
konyi bumrai w'ikiama kia Jubilee Daktari Fred Matiang'i nigo aesokire na gukwanira ayabwatikaine boiga yagendera temi ensemambia ya bono asa kwanira na kumurikira bakwariri bwa serikali monokura sensemo yechisemi obochenu na boiga sagi keirie ayabwatikaine no bosagani obwabere bokwenekigwa imeyense na mono gochiase abana siasa amuna barayichinga kichonsi bagotara chinsemo ao asemesangerekano ya gesiasa bosibo bachoro bonene bwo mwaka bw'echile fibera 2025 na kabere enkwana akwanire kurase chiobisi chinene chekiama kia Jubilee bune kubwatia.
Thank you so much, SG, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for turning up very early. It's because we thought that we should do this early because we have a very, very packed day of so many activities. There is that time in the life of a nation, such as we are now, when I think we need to speak to each other candidly and very sincerely about how we see the affairs of our country going. And most of what I'm going to do this morning, I feel the weight of responsibility on my shoulders as a political leader in a party, number one, and then secondly, as someone who had the privilege of serving as the Cabinet Minister for Interior and Coordination of National Government, and therefore sat in the apex of the national security infrastructure in the country for about 5 years. We have spoken about these things for a while, but it's now abundantly clear that the President and his government have chosen violence as a weapon for political survival and as a weapon for political engagement. And I'm not going to start where usually people start with these tired cliches about we condemn in the strongest terms possible, we ask for action. I'm not going to go that direction. Because what we are dealing with is abundantly clear to all of us that we have come to a point where certain serious conversations must happen in this country and choices must be made. This is not rocket science. You don't need a degree in geophysics to see what is going on in the country. This weekend alone, from the stoning incident in Mulot that affected my 2 vehicles, to the stoning incident in Nakuru Town West that affected DCP leaders, and then Salga, and then yesterday in Homa Bay. It's so clear to everyone that, one, there's a pattern to this. Second, there's very clear questions of government in this because you look at the behavior of the security forces on this matter. And three, you can see, blatantly, a case of, determination on the part of government to engage in this level of violence. From my experience, I want to tell Kenyans very sincerely, I do not think and I cannot see how the scale of violence in Homa Bay and the activity that happened there could have happened without the knowledge of the National Security Council and without the knowledge especially of the President. Because I have been in that environment before. The President receives executive intelligence briefings wherever he is, even if he is in Greenland or attending the UN General Assembly. such intelligence information is gathered and the president is briefed very regularly. So when you look at what happened in Homa Bay, it's crime at industrial scale. The planning, you can see clearly the choreography, the management of that, and the resources that could have been spent in that clearly shows you that this is something that was premeditated, it had been happening, it was planned. The next question you ask is, where was the county security team led by the county commissioner in Homa Bay? Where was the regional security team led by the regional commissioner in Kisumu? In most cases, unless the operations of government have changed in a very significant manner, and my dear Kenyans, listen to me, this is something I know like the back of my hand. Unless the management of government has changed in any significant manner, the situation in Homa Bay is one where even the regional police commander should have taken control and taken over the command of what was happening in Homa Bay and assembled resources. I am aware, because that the deployment has not changed. I am aware that in that region, the police have got even special resources. There are border police, there is a GSU. They would have been able to mobilize sufficient resources to address what was happening, but they couldn't, because clearly there was a sense of acceptance on the part of the security forces that ought to have happened. The tragedy of it all is that now we have been warning everybody, and that's why I'm not going to go into those, usual silly niceties of saying we warn, we condemn. We are already in a crisis. We have now begun our final descension into anarchy as a country. Let's not pretend about it. When you look at the scale of destruction, the pain and the losses in Homa Bay, into chaos. The president and his government have chosen. Because ask yourself the question, you can go far back to the attacks in Odaya, when Rigathi Gachagua was going to church and he was attacked there by armed people and so on. All the way the 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, when Linda Mwananchi convoy was stoned in a place called Keumbu in Kisii. Those guys were arrested, they were to court on Monday. There wasn't a prosecutor, there wasn't a file, there was nothing. The magistrate released them, they walked away. When the local member of parliament was invited to record a statement by the DCI, he did not as much as stand up. We lost a life there, a gentleman called Mapinduzi. We buried him a while ago, and that story is gone. We are going on. No investigations done, no arrests, nothing. 2 weeks earlier, elected leaders, members of the county assembly in Kisii, were beaten up by thugs in the center of town at 9 a.m. in the morning. When I arrived there with a bunch of lawyers to see these guys in hospital, the police officers were telling me they don't have B3, all manner of these silly excuses you keep hearing all the time. To this day, no one has been arrested or prosecuted about that. The county government there in Kisii is running a militia, terrorizing people at night, going to estates, beating up people and so on, with the acquiescence of the police. Because the police know this. And everywhere in the country, you saw online last week what happened here in Allingham 1 month ago on Thika Road. 9 o'clock in the morning, thugs closed the road and terrorized people. We have begun our final descension into chaos. The question now for us as Kenyans is, how do we approach this and what are we going to do? So we are beyond condemning, beyond threatening, beyond asking for action. I think for me, beginning now, and I will consult with my colleagues in the opposition, we are going to have a retreat next week, and all Kenyans of goodwill, let us now engage our thoughts and minds on how are we going to deal with this government. Because this is not ordinary business. What you are seeing here is not ordinary business. There are no arrests. The political difference is not a good enough excuse to inflict the kind of loss and pain that we have seen this weekend. And while we are on that, and I will discuss more of this when I get another opportunity. There's stuff that people are not talking about. The government has decided to now begin, in addition to terrorizing opposition leaders, if you did not know, and some of my staffers are here, they will tell you, they began a new wave of digital terrorism against the opposition. They have acquired resources from some criminal groups in the nation country, and they are accessing social media accounts of opposition leaders. These days, we get trailed, and my staffers can bear me out. We get trailed by vehicles, I believe they belong to the state, with jammers. We stop to address rallies, our Wi-Fi is interfered with, you cannot communicate. I was checking with my staffers who were checking with the team that Rigathi Gachagua was traveling with over the weekend. They began experiencing the same challenges on the trail. And these are jammers. I believe this is the work of the state. Who has the capacity to do that? You have seen unprecedented investment in propaganda, fake news, and so on. Last week you saw a letter purported, a statement purportedly authored by Kanze Dena, the communication head of the fourth president, claiming that President Kenyatta has said he's not going to meet with Rigathi Gachagua and so on and so forth. All that is the work of the state. Now the state is investing huge amounts of money in propaganda, in fake news, and so on, targeting the opposition and so on, instead of focusing on the challenges we have as a country. All these are acts of a government that is not interested in the order and stability of the country. And let us not delude ourselves. Let us not delude ourselves. Countries that have begun this path this way end up like some of our neighbors. The level of anarchy in the country and the evidence of state failure is all over, is replete. And by the way, we talk to senior officers even in the security sector. They are demoralized, they are so frustrated. Where do we get some of this information? Is senior security officers, some of who talk to us, and they are equally demoralized. They are frustrated. They tell you all these things. They say this is unprecedented. The level of state-supported or state-tolerated crime against the people of Kenya is unacceptable. So I think the government has made its choice on this particular matter. It's now upon the people of Kenya to also now make their choice. And this is not going to come easily like that. It's going to require all of us to have conversations, consult one another, plan, and take a course that we believe, first of all, is lawful and preservative of our country, and then see how else we can address this problem. Otherwise, we are not going to reverse this. You know, our fellow citizens who happen to be in power, President Ruto and his colleagues, imagine unwisely that access to instruments of power guarantees you control and management of this for a long time. They are so wrong, and they will discover how wrong they are shortly. The unfortunate thing is that it will be at the expense of lives such as those that were lost in Homa Bay. Because none of us, you know, you can't terrorize the public as a way of surviving, because the repercussions are dire. When wananchi begin to respond to this terrorism, to this madness by the state, you will not be able to control the country. You are radicalizing the country to a point where you won't be able to control it. When people rise up against this, it's going to be completely uncontrollable. Because ask yourself the question, these people you are paying, these thugs you are paying and goons and all that, to terrorize your opponents, when they are done terrorizing your opponents, what are they going to do? They are going to turn on you, first of all. They will come to your houses. They will want this money. You are socializing them to a consistent supply of income through crime. And that is not going to be the way of sustaining our country. Finally, because we are in this, and then let's be very honest with each other. We've not been here before as a country. This is unprecedented. It's unusual. And I'm not going to waste my time saying we condemn this in the strongest terms possible. We are done with condemning. How many times are we going to condemn? Memoranda has been taken to the Inspector General of Police. Representation has been done to the parliamentary committees. Faith-based leaders. Because if I am in leadership and people speak to me the way the Conference of Catholic Bishops spoke, I would actually be worried. The PCA bishops and all these people, if you are a leader and your religious leaders in your country speak to you the way these leaders have been speaking, you of course to be concerned and do the right thing. But it's abundantly clear they don't care. They just simply don't care. They're playing for one thing, survival. And nothing matters. Independent institutions will be abused. Security sector institutions will be abused so that one end is achieved, political survival. Unfortunately, the cost is very high. So I take this opportunity, painfully and sadly, to convey our condolences as a party to those who lost their lives yesterday, including a Form 3 student. That's how low we have sunk. Then urge my colleagues in the opposition that time now has come when our sense of commitment to opposition unity is going to be tested, our sense of patriotism is going to be tested, our nerves are going to be frayed, our patience is going to be taxed, and the temptations even to split us are real. What gift could you give this government than seeing opposition leaders either calling each other names in public? We as Jubilee are determined to stay in this for the long haul. We will play our even we ourselves do not like, or things that table and discuss them. We will not fall into the trap of breaking the first commandment when you are at war. Thou shalt not turn fire on your compatriot. The challenges we have are coming from one direction, the government of the day, and now is the time for us to cross ranks, work together, and ensure that we do the right thing for the country. I pray that we fall into those temptations of focusing on each other and criticizing each other, and sometimes using language that is intemperate. Patience is being tested. Some of these things are done by government so that we can fight amongst ourselves. We must refuse to walk down that. We as Jubilee are going to refuse to walk down that path. We will work together to ensuring that unity prevails, to ensure that we stay together and move forward to deliver this country challenges it now faces. The worst, the crime and insecurity initiated, supported by elements of government. Finally, before I finish, you wonderful people in the press, I want you to check this on your own. Over the years, when we were in government, we always periodically did a mop-up of small arms in the wrong hands because of where we find ourselves as a country. We have porous borders around us, and we have conflict virtually in every one of our neighborhoods. And because of that, we sustained that practice of mopping small arms and burning them every so often. What is harrowing to me, even with the knowledge I have on how the security sector operates, there were armed people in that Homa Bay meeting, some of them shooting. Nobody knows whether they are actually people from the disciplined groups. My sense and suspicion is that there are far too many small arms in the wrong hands in the country, which is now fueling up the confidence of criminals and criminal activity. Now, how do we go to an election in that kind of environment? I don't want to say we're asking the government. This is common sense. It's something they know they ought to do. It's something they know they ought to do. And if they are not doing it, they are not doing it deliberately because they have an end they want to achieve. I cannot imagine how, with the kind of security resources we have in the country and the kind of infrastructure we have, we could see the violence in the scale of what we saw in Homa Bay. For 2 days, a rural county in Kenya is actually under the spell and control of criminals for 2 days. And we behave as if this is normal. I have done my duty as a leader on behalf of my colleagues. I have pointed out to the country and I have warned that we have begun our final descension into chaos and anarchy in this country. The question is, what are we going to do as a people? My suggestion is we will have to sit down, consult all actors and choose which path we are going to follow. Because we are beyond that idea of saying we condemn what happened yesterday. We are beyond condemnation. That's what we do every time. And they know, I want to tell fellow Kenyans, people know that I usually speak bluntly this way. Let's stop this pretense. You know, we are not dealing with a normal situation now in the country. We are not. Where? When you see those kinds of things happening, and who will tell me, who? The county commissioner or the regional commissioner to tell me that that kind of stuff would happen in your area of jurisdiction and you don't have backing from your bosses to witness that kind of nonsense going on there, where citizens are being hurt and being maimed because of politics in broad daylight? The government has chosen that. That's why it's happening. And the deployment of resources, you can see clearly this was very well choreographed, it was very well planned. You don't have to be you know, you can tell the amount of resources being involved, the level of mobilization. The leaders in that area who are organizing that had been swearing all week. And no one is arrested these days, no one is charged in a court of law with that kind of violence. The level of impunity has gone to new levels. And so the question you ask is, do you actually believe that you can continue doing that in this country for the next 11 months and hope that there will be a country after that? The greatest question to Kenyans today and always is, which way Kenya? Are we going to allow our country to burn? Because it's clear, we have begun that path. Or are we going to allow our country to be destroyed? We must answer that question with a resounding no and follow it up with action. The action is we will sit together and figure out what legal way do we go forward, what do we do. All of us who are interested in the stability of the country, political power and all these things are secondary to the lives of our people, to the stability of our nation. Kenya is much more important than any one of us. This is something we have to think and act about. Thank you. Crispin, yeah, I'd say we are good. And I mean, unless there's something burning on this particular subject, please. We are having a retreat, an opposition retreat on 24th and 25th of this month. And among other things, of course, we are going to discuss the electoral environment and what we need to do as we go forward. And we are going to try to reach as many Kenyans as possible within the leadership and decision-making community. The focus being, my brothers and sisters, and many of you who are here at this press conference are people, smart, very well-educated people. Do you actually think this is the way we should run our country? Do you think this is the way we should manage our country? I mean, how? You know, I've said before, by the way, this is something I need to point out. You know, when we comment about things and been written on Kenya.
Eye n'Ensoko TV, oboroso bw'umugusi. obulimira bw'essiro y'obunda bw'ensi kulende tali nchira ndio sirakora obulimi obyoke enyore ribaga lya bene kwaegwa migirio chisemi nobosemia igrio obulimi bwekerero nechikolinga
ase obolemi bochete skuru nobotigi bokumerwa mache
tebone ng'ombe bune yengiya
ngale konyana eyinsimegete nterangete amaraba ekonete konya gukina yo kamaraba konya kuyana nganya kwama buya
beka chibuti imokio bokombe tosemogondo bweli nebisumwime na pathwell machine
Kristo kuri Jumaine chinsa ni bere cyamuragoba weka chinsa isato asomoro bere oberemi nobotugi ekero turesemia mange kura saberemi chini gongoro kwa pathwell machine
asomoro bere boberemi nobotugi ime Ensoko TV oboroso bw'omugusi mrena nabali b'ekinguru erikwe manyabo na wataka kuruchitana chinse Frida Kerubo, Innocent Onyango, Clinton Ondigi, Diana Ndemo, Ishmael Mogere, Linet Nyambane, Daniel Omwaga, eke nakige kos kiamesa yamangana maya. Eye Ensoko TV oboroso bw'omugusi.
Karibu na ndo mwanchomo rigereria mambia ya bono chidakika ni sato choka chiatigerejire chinsa isano chia bono mambio moroberu Etorobini akenga kitu asoire asense muyende yakabire mambia ya bono asuko kwanira naboyo kumurikira ya bwatikene ne chigosori mambije gatusanga asubwamo wetera senjira y'umutanda gwekerera asense ya YouTube Ensoko TV namba ya mawasiliano na yankonya gwetera ensabo chaka gutuma ujumbe yage nyengego chakira bono gwika mwerio asense meyiga yakabire chinsa isano nemo chia bono mambia karibu sana ngakinkwariania abatogusangamo na bara bwe mambia ya bono abarali ba minto elio toswe asense muyogo kwanira chigosori ase obwaga karibu sana tuchake na semu yagati
wakire omancho murigereria abo Ensoko television igimana nditega nkwarigania sumurubiri Etorobini chigosori ne monase ritukuri Jumatatu kuno maitenga goika ekera nega gase egetesenkia kuna mbaye Mogere Ensoko television tiga nkumanye nandinga the program as officially started the same way the Premier League is officially starting igobona kabana into ko muri tukomanye una chigosori cyo sikonyara kwa chigokoreka kurwa iga ase ense ya Kenya twambuke mpaka ase chinsa mochiri cha machengumbu anamona kato kurigereria chigosori chionse chikonyara kwa chigokoreka nanje ni ngonkoro kwa Morin Siango
biyakigima ase ensemo yende na Frank
omwancho murigereria bwegetaseni Ensoko ngukwariga ase mambia bono na gotenga gwaterabu goikato ikiro mwerio bwegepindi eke gichigosori asitora chikumurikirana ne mono buna baminto baikire gukwana nga nduchikurigereri mono chigosori chiabere chikokorekana ase weekend ye anene mono kurwa ase orogongo rwito rwa Kenya amoni na guchi chinse jiri cha mache ngumbu na anene mono ngo inyolinga Arsenal is the Champions League is the champion of Arsenal.
Oh my God.
Yeke kombe kia
you'll never say it.
No.
Champions League, you'll never say it. Champions League, you'll never say it. Oh my God. Champions League, you'll never say it.
Guys, anyway, what are we come here? We are mono Mogere.
By the way, Mogere to Babuna Frank at Champions League Arsenal fans, they'll not sing it forever. European virgins. 0 UCL.
mambia bono ekero tugochaka gukwanira subagara ya batkine ni chigosori totarambuka isikoyense ya Kenya inganchire tuchake na inka ase tukoligereria nonyena mariganio enyore season enya ase league ya FKF bwangu igeria sport pesa na rongo chakere lakini etara chaka marigani na are agendrete na mono as team of course tubate chi friendly simbara kwenye chese bikombe hapa na pale na bali kupune nchira mu kwenye wepi machinguru niko tuchaka ne timu ya Shabana FC yo yabete kokosori amo ne timu area ya Nakuru abo ase Shabana yanyore tubo wechigolisa to ase eyemo inse tokoratana ni captain okurkunere George Orako abona tokora chakire mambia yabono toligereri na nyone timu ya Shabana of course nyone sponsors inkwaro chena nkonya go chabarime bune nchire mu yoko yarigane so that season kego chaka ebena yarigani rubia and of course cyo kwanera na team chinde chiabo Gor Mahia FC chiabo Migori and everything lakini tiatora chaka kurwa inka tumanya soka uchisko
Nda tebenga buna bonika tuchakirte pre-season. There are many ways chitim chiko nyarko bachiko banga ko so ase league ya Sport Pesa League. As long as to arwete ko yeruka Premier League to Kenya Premier League to boniga to ko yeruka Sport Pesa Premier League. Iga bono kero ko rigere league iga ne chiko ba competitive mono. Nda tebanda ke there'll be more changes ase league iga ya Sport Pesa League this season and this will be more enticing league nda tebo koba. Kero ko rigere most of the teams they've noticed for the last time a coach ya Omo Kenya anya teko baga win a trophy nkaite it's 15 years ago na nde aringe Robert Matano kera aringe team ya Tusker FC iko kero korigereri most of the teams janyana ko bachi ko kora signing janyana ko bachi ko kora change sase technical bench chiabo na nde banyana ko baga kora kibako ligia aba coach bali batali ba Kenya bali banyala ko baga poch ko ase iskoyense ya Kenya iko kero korigereri chinse ichi team chinyinge kero ba ko ichi coach ko iskoyense ya Kenya ko ba kero korigereri no mo coach oyo mobiko nyaliko baga kobwa egekombe imeyense ya Kenya uyoro mu Kenya uyoro Robert Matano uyibone igora se team ya KCB igobona kero gukwanira akoleta abakocha abakuru iskoye chinse cha Kenya igo team chiebangira nemono nonya bara si pre-season se chiga nkonya gweto mabale anemono banyariko bakora gusenko bwabale gekombe kendi nyonsi season ega ukwandire team ya Shabana kogosoria ne team ya Nakuru ase Enseko bale Nakuru asa mariganio ye pre-season ko bakero to kuri ritanga ni banyate ko bakwenda ase Enseko ya Tanzania but mbache tiko bagofanikiwa bakonyara libaga lyo gukora pre-season ya baro bakanyariko bakuhira nasiboni bagende tiko kora se Enseko ya Nakuru iko we are expecting a lot ko bakero to kuri gereri na ne update cyo kabona chikoro kuru ase team go sase page ya team konya kote abare mbabwate new signing lakini bagenda takonya ku unveil iko performance no era ko bakero kuri ya se score sheet konya rabakulikanga to be unveiled do yoro score eten ko bar unveiled igo taraba unveiled do yoro score igo we are expecting a lot kuru ase team ya Shabana maybe this might be the season bara chikwimuke kombe ekiga ya Sport Pesa League you never know because it's been a while no need to that feeling yoko imuke kombe kyo so we hope for the best
asensemo yende franke karato koliyeri asobwango no koliyeri na ase elige yega ya Sport Pesa League chitimu nchiri chiare through on board chinya buna timu ya 3K FC ya Chireme timu ya Migori Youth FC ya Leturuime timu ya Mombasa United nero ya Leturuime magega ya chirichare ngo koba relegate na chire chibono chiakini go chaigoro and of course wale chitimu nchire chigo cha chiakina go cha seligi gora na chacha go chanda sana chigo sumbwa sana winyore muranga sile asiarenge Shabana asiarenge ritangani wikiraboni ga buna bagendere tagutinya egosoli yabo ase naboigo gutigara orobono permanently na barabu bono barosiri ebezi yabo boroso bwabo bono bwabere gukwanira igore chitimu echiga isato chinya chiakinire korwase NSL bono chiasoire ase league engima bono entry KFC Migori Youth FC Mombasa United and of course nimete na molini kwero gukwanira igore ya Migori Youth FC bono kwa mokundire lakini atrachi gukwanira kende ase Enseko yago igore chitimu echio isato
I think anemone gendonda kwanira igoro ichi timu ichi chiabe takwe nyora na liba gali yocha participate ase league ya Sport Pesa tugatoka gerenga njichi kolete challenge to the teams chirichi analire ko ba se league yeyu anene mono kera to kuligereria team buna Migori Youth ekero gote makuligereria anene mone se kosori ya babu ategoraria se geti kyanyayo amoni timu ya Gor Mahia na bego korokinga neji timu chiebangete asemencho ine timu wetense anene mono sa chilo iso kuligereria no nyene chi facilities tiri chi timu china na buna Gor Mahia chibwate anene mono bakonyoranga timu ete bwate
Sas
nari gukwanira nene mono ase timu ya Migori FC yabete kogende makali yechigori ibere ase ne timu ya Gor Mahia buri tukore gora ase geti kyanyayo na bego korokinga nenchira ya mochi timu echiche bangete buya na
na nene mono chichiko challenge chitimu chinene asengencho chitimu chinge oise kurigereria nene mono umupira noro anene mono ase mashinani unyorenga nonye ne timu ya Gor Mahia ngakinere chiachesete na timu akaga BB Bread na timu ya actually kamanage gwaka Gor Mahia igobono
ase ngakiria nge kombe kirikia Mozart
kombe kirikia Mozart ya igobono naboko nyara koranga mupira talinga nerietanga ne timu getenga once timu yero nga so long as you are playing for this team nga it is actually sure nga goikainu mokolibuya rioka na timu engana bego cha korunsaria na nde kolibuya usikoligeria nene mono paka tisokoligeria na ne timu chiri chabe chiko kolibuya kurwase okorwase chiligi chance gocha igoro inyorobu ne timu ya Leicester yaruete ligi enke egachika ire gekombe gya Premier League igo nkoberenga nkoro kire bichanga chitimu echi bado nonye chirensali telinga gose imjibwati okwenyara soko chiesa anene mono maybe gento ndatebe guchikia chilemea totebe na amangana totebe amangana finance na management na rago chabe challenge bati umupira nore mashinani na ndalia no mono chi talent chigekeire igo bono chitimu echi cha Migori FC 3K na Mombasa United tikatukagerenga nchichiko kolibu ya saidi buna tu abire tokorora timu ya Shabana amoni ya Muranga Seal buna chiachete chia maintain ya league na koleta competition irengia igobono tikatukagerenga nchichikoleta healthy competition na league ya Sport Pesa iyo anene monera chikogera koleto munso monene gocha se chikosoliechi
Morina sensemu yago onyere timu ya Sofapaka FC by the way Bidco United na Kariobangi Sharks nchira ichio chia tirimbukiwa guchinse alafu nalio 3K Migori na Mombasa United chigacha konyora alibaga igo it is also good na rakoligera lina chiga chia ra chiri guchinse na chirecho of course nchire chiko ndoro na chia maintain chia chanda sana na chire negoro lakini nchire chiria okonyora na buna chia tirimbukiri chira na NSL nigo chiwe kansali chikagerete nangwa na chinyore akosoli ere nyororo na ndi bono chiamanya gwikaransiru mono chiamanya gokobu chiakobu ba actually bakora as a league ba performance ya senchira tali engia
intonda tebe at first in these leagues chiko participated as a Kenya Keroko yekwanre league ya National Super League. It's the most competitive league. Ariyo nyana tete ko pick talents koru na wako nyora pure talents chiroro. Koba Keroko ligeri ase chilig chiri mostly chiri koba streamed. There's no way ora nyorenga ngintete kwanda kuligeri game ya 3K ya wasore tukuna Mombasa United in ekilipu ekindore. It's very rare. Iko bono Keroko ligeri ase timu chigachi ya tirete isato ine timu ya 3K FC. Korua sense moya Embu. The first team from Embu konyora libagali kuchese Premier League ya Kenya, the Tire League in Kenya. Iko Keroko ligeri it's a good move. Kinande Keroko kwa nera ase team ya Mombasa United. Of course mbabwate team ya Bandari URC Sport Pesa Premier League wabona baromba chikutuara derby yabo ya Bandari. Wose yabantu bali bakuru Ensemeri ya Coast. Na Keroko kwa nre team ya Migori Youth na baromba bwate derby yabo na aroche bakuru Green Army. Eyo yanya tukabe ko sori goro bakanyana ko bakonyore ko Keroko kwa nre team ya
ya 3K na tranya reli ta because obo liru kwa ko tebi na bono tuatwalire team na intwe ya Mount Kenya East.
Kabisa for the first time lakini hata for the first time it's very rare bona batu ari team ko babona nkagete eke mina non touch ko mochase season igane eke mina no gatie team ya Shabana FC na 3K FC it will be a very interesting match. Akaba Keroko ligeri the number of fans various team ya 3K FC na number of fans various team ya Shabana FC. You can imagine onya bachakire chibanta already game terachaka ko sorry terachi yes attack already. You can imagine what it will be. Ibono Kerongo kwanda chitimu chigai sato chia tirete ine team ya 3K will be performing good. Okoba Kerongo ligeri banyari kwa bakuebanga bakore signings bachenchiri squad because Kerongo wase Ensemeri NSL Sport Pesa League. It's not the same ora chigo tari same strategy go chigo to make us say Ensemeri Sport Pesa League. You have to change your strategy. Okoba chi opponents na banga obon Keroko ligeri team ya ya Migori Youth na barobo igo bakore signing. Lakini Kerongo yekwande team ya Mombasa United ba bwatu kirabo gosori bali banya tuko bakonya nemono goswa se eliga ya Sport Pesa League. Na bona iga so far tindara signing ende osiba kolira So I didn't expect that much kurua se timu ya Mombasa United season ege gochaka kwa bakero kuri limba nya kwa bakumbwatu kaneno magosoria ni Mayo Nchiri uyo rengo magosore bwe timu ya Shabana FC ne Mayo Nchiri bono iga osoira se timu ya Migori Youth igo is going to do a lot kwa timu ina nya kwa bako imukiga kero ba chire game gwikare gutwa kwa ba se score sheet gwikare go score go saba winning goal yare kwa ba 3 points
na inde opening match yabo omanyete ya Mombasa United ekare egatia Mombasa United na Kakamega Homeboys.
Kakamega Homeboys.
Opening match.
By the way,
welcomed.
Chifix chanti ya soga te by the way.
Uko karibishwa ne timu ya Chinguru.
Iko kero koligeli kitintera Chifix che chikatia nyata kwa chigo soka. It's a very tricky way. Entera Chifix che soga there is no way yora chikonyara bwepukanga onya tuwe bangiti bono iga you are going to suffer. Akoba kero koligeli sport pesa league, it's a competitive league too. Nande if bono iga I think this time if team FC Leopards so mbali kuchukuriga riba gari ko imokiga kombe kyo Shabana FC we are taking it because number 1 ega mtokera garanta nga FC mbabwate hapa hand yoko imokiga kombe kyo because wona iga you can see the way Ambani transform media team weli Fred Ambani the coach alafu chena chairman bako bwatera na brother ya yoko kubon face Ambani alafu from there bamanye kuimoka baletero mokocho kurukunga Bernard Mwalaro yo renkorwa set team ya Shabana FC akagende team ya Bandari bamurusiri Bandari bamate na assistant coach okero kurigeria technical bench ya unit chigotwara more tactics akoba kero kurigeria Ambani onyaro kwa bago tware strategy iliyo ko win chi team ange chonsi ase league yiga last season omanye koreta added advantage ya more brains kurua se Bernard Mwalala gocha se timu iga we are expecting a lot kurua se timu iga ya AFC Leopards if this is because nkaita bachire 14 seasons bataranyara kombe kyo so we are expecting a lot in this season
na asense mwenye karoto kuli signings ye timu ya Shabana of course ntwa kwandira igoro ye timu ya Mombasa United opening match ni kare gati ya Mombasa United na Kakamega Homeboys 3K FC nero opening match yabo nge kare gati yabo amona Mara Sugar Migori Youth abaskali Kenya Police na ubago cha kubalia ni ya AC Sport Pesa League signings cha Shabana sobwanga mono ensemo yago Frank of course ntobwate Luis Ingavi baba Dennis Wanjala goalkeeper ya Chabo baba Daniel Bonsi AC season yeiga bona ibra tukokwana.
I think for Shabana to do their signings, it's a way of inchiraya yoko make ekikosi kebe strong na anene mono ko identify in weak areas as anene mono asibaroche okolemewa gosomo chanda ase season yaera ikobono we expected inga kere ligi koera kuikamwe bange more strategize like the way they have done it. They have done their signings bono anemono signings ye chinchichiko bakonya na commenta maybe force egere etimu ye chiko kolibu ya side goetani buna ya koletira season na kuligeringa nga yali tu akolete bube nga yali tu alemetu isita defensive midfield ko sebado ni forward bona awekero konyoranga technical bench koirana ba draw ba manya komanyanga maybe aiga na amagosa alenge na aiga na alia that is ekoba enjera ere ngororo saidi kogenda market na goraba abagosoli bali barache koleta a new changes igo anene mono tuisukoligeria for the signings cha Shabana na bochi koro kyanga they are really prepared for this season nande tigatoka gerebu na oyo mindeka gotanga she is giving them a upper hand despite bado na upper hand the AFC Leopards bado a challenge nero gati timu echi ko anene mono maite timu chiro chirito manyetenga nabanyangongo butambi no nabarobu nchirate otura atebenga we do away nabarobu abungu kwaniranga nabanyangongo be ligia ase chintunda chinyinge abo bare Gor Mahia igo bono abalimba bwate experience kisaine by the way bono anene mono igo tuisogotebanga anye ni timu turachikurigire chira chiko compete anene mono saidi turigererie timu ya Gor Mahia Shabana amona AFC Leopards because Leopards ya chira another extra mile to increase paka their technical bench with a lot of winning mentalities chi abantu babwate chi winning mentality bali barakonye ekilabu ekiko kolibuya iko bono Shabana nebwate sabari na we hope that they will do their best.
Asense mwende mori nekera tokore kuru asense meyo oinyoreye kuru kwabuna nero AFC Leopards singinchonero wa kwandira na konye tari AFC Leopards gochikwe muke kombe kega Shabana eba korete season in point 64 Goruma yabakora na 69 Kenya Police na bakabana amba isato point yabo cyane 55 of course 53 Nairobi United Shabana bakakora namba isano na 52 ekero koli kururi tangani Shabana mbacha gitubya sana nonyekero bakoigora se second leg ligo baringe bya lakini enchira basite kurwa namba enga kiemba bakatangana ibere isatu paka bagachokora paka namba isana up to now negento otanyara we explain and of course football things happen na bakonyorana ndiro tangaine mabira mayambere kwanyorana makosa masinini achakirwa kwira ninse gocha nabwo kero kolieri signings echiga cha Shabana kero kolieri unabono goalkeeper nigarwete team ya Posta Rangers na raigorwete Tusker FC Dennis Wanjala left back asense midfielder ya Nairobi United Daniel Bichok amo na bande gocha ase ensemo yake ratokora kurase ensemo ejo Shabana ego chiacha kabya sana lakini ase gukorera bono abuno umuchandore nkikigane irikoreke bishona ko ligirwa season yiga enya
at first ndatebe keroko ligirye timu yiga ya Shabana most of the time tori ribuna last season mbarenge mpaka babwate mpaka ribagariyo ko win Mozart Bet Cup but due to challenge babwate nkenke amangana coaching babwate issues chiabo ikagera bakanyara kwa bakuira na maiga if gotagete timu run smoothly as management make sure nga mangana tayo akwe laps gatigati ya season yao konya kwa chakire season chaka ndege yake yonya kwa chakire gotete kwa ndane speed ya 150 kienda nero you can't togo chaka na 150 ila no chake kuchira 50 you expect the same things to happen one yake roko rigerie team ya Nairobi United babu ato mo coach otari mu Kenya timu ya Shabana FC basari mokocho tari mo Kenya timu ya Gor Mahia bakubwata mokocho tari mo Kenya timu ya AFC Leopards na bakubwata mokocho re mo Kenya iko kero kurigere the reason to why timu ya Gor Mahia bakubwate ebikombe bigaso bonge ni because wana rely on bakocha batari ba Kenya because yanyalo kabaye komanyikana ngaba kocha aba na bakocha bakora kipare to bubuya se timu chiga kero kurigere ya timu ya Gor Mahia. How many coaches bara wa Kenya baror ebikombe biga babuire you can mention Tayo once pia bali baba ile bikombe biga no rigeria se history yonsi omo coach imukiria gakombe noyo mubuye ko mo Kenya yore Robert Matano rase timu ya KCB na wekera boni ga saikeiro na unchukana kaende timu ya Sofapaka bunatara tulia akabera task kere imugite kombe kuruoro so it's been that tough igobona chitimu kero chibwate strategy yiga unabona inga timu ya Shabana yanyaliko baka koleta changes bana baro barenga tikango turatema kuruase ense isiko toreto mokocho iga toramoreta na erenga iga torenga changes inchiboro maybe this will be their first time na baro kwimukia kombe okoba it's the time na baro balingeri tikabaka so okay isiko ense ya Kenya you never know koba kero kori ya technical bench taringa ne kwerende yoka coach yoka basa ineti babu atembare teto muntu ko kore kwenda gukora video analyst kuna na chigete gota iga ngala season team ya Shabana babu ate video analyst you can't run a team gota bwate video analyst babu nero ku analyze team ya opponent iri kuchikochesa nero akote yabantu aba ntete ko game yogo press abantu aba ntete long balls. So you have to have a video analyst. We are expecting a lot. Tukanyara kabato koraba ko moleto mukosho rio Green Commandos. So we are expecting a lot korwa seti mwega because mono at least they have nyale kwaba kuibanga for enough time and we are expecting a lot. Tegatoganye season nature yake officially to fix changia so gata sinchererio boikeranu. Yeah. Wish them the best.
Asensemo yende kero kerie togoswa tunganye kuru asenseme iyo tugera subwango bana singincho ye chinsa no goswa ko lieria and of course ege kombe kerikia ba subati kia women sota Wafcon kia bage kogosori wa senseria ya Morocco the last time a week elia nigo tu atigerete asechi semifinali nchiachite chikagosori wa gocha mpaka matokeo bunachite kwa timu ya Cameroon na reyasti gokeimokia ege kombe keiga korwa sensemo yago Frank na tokora chaka iguro wechi semifinali alafu toche egosore lio koligia timu namba 3 korwa bo toche timu finali buna yachite koera abwase timu ya Cameroon yabasubati yachite kogosori tuguchagara ensemo ya Gomorin semifinal kerukuri tutaragana na semifinali ase gosori eria ase ensemo ya nekero nariko yerigereria ase ensemo ya gatatu enamberi ya gatatu Morocco bagachaka bya sana. Of course yakagenda Edward and that babwati opportunity libagari ya sana yoko nyorubu pake dakika chise kune chitigarete bairwe penalty lakini naende bakatuguta bagacha kogenda penalty cyo mwere mwino bagacha wikorwa ne timu ya Algeria.
For me that tebe at first nenyorete kero twaringiga iga Jumatatu yeta. My prediction was Morocco to win. And I'm sorry to you, Ishmael, because you are a Morocco fan. I pity you. I pity you. Morocco. So we are sorry for that. For you losing, Nana Kwarenge host. Lakini tuwako ile pole. Iko wane team ya Morocco.
By then asali sana. Ngasalira korwa engakielia ya AFCON yenyene. Asali World Cup.
Inere bakoroka nga mpira udunda. Inere bakoroka
mpira udunda.
Kiria igo mirane ya AFCON na naringe very interesting. Nonye maybe ntebentu na Kenya. We failed ourselves. We did nothing. I can say we did nothing. We didn't score even one goal. So we did nothing. Tukaira na ngabono tuko wapenzi watazamaji.
Yona makaribisho nchireria abantu bacho bakaribishwe round yeyega yani. Baso etabo nkunyuga. Kero montaka kaenda buaye.
Inge wokaribishwe and you scored nothing. You did nothing. Kwachi eto turikachiba so na kwari ko equalize also kedro ubegete goal yaga yemo katware goal difference wana yo
kwate banyore tubo wino nyene obomo.
No na obomo number score eti goal. Iko which means ntubu na Kenya we failed bona tika maybe una toira netenka tukacha kwa wapenzi watazamaji. That was our place. Iga timu ya Morocco they mbabwate upper hand yoko imuki kombe kyo kia AFCON, but unfortunately it happened mbarabego sereta banyana because I'm pretty sure wale gocha wika se final bomera na Cameroon they were to win it. Because keroko rigari the more yogo play because I can say at first they failed themselves. Why yereti barabwa banyana. How can you ngakyo nyore penalty yogo go save 30 seconds and omego correct? Omego pura. Omego tuwakera chipene nkagai. We don't want that. It's last minute you are saving us. Kwa mekuimuka igoro kwa to fail.
Oma tayari gocha kanyonsi kuvuga efirimbi elia yari gocha kuvuga
seconds tiatigarete. Because they failed themselves. Maybe in that tebe you never know. Sometimes even tongo happen vile kwa sinyunga ninki kiaba. Na bako nyoromo kocha ko make a decision tige monto keta chese penalty. Toko manyanga sababu kiyagera. It's the same way kwa roche Arsenal nye World Cup. Ama kosa ina atokete. Okara mokocha bwe timu ya Brazil. Kwa Bruno Guimaraes achese penalty. We have Casemiro. Ndopo ate player sawa nga se squad yeyu. Waribana nyari kochesa. Lakini ya meko teba. Mpaka Vinicius Junior noara se squad yeyu. Harafu meko teba nga Bruno Guimaraes sokwe penalty ya cheze. Nande penalty ina reare uocha uo save. Harafu kwa meko mko kwa tenga si top 5 wali nabo ate. Hafu moka netiba ake mbali. You have to ntoriko enda as a penalty we have those penalty takers. Wali wapwatengana na ki oyota ako miss. The same way unaboneka currently Bruno is going through a lot. Lakini wakoba bwatenga eko chama itenga Bruno na re penalty taker. Goika. So we have to change that mentality tatebenga onyo muntu ka re penalty taker. There is time tutabona ntiko rely on him ose ha. Wakoba kero kurigeri nonye aba gosore bona babo ama Diallo. Enga kinero liritu wale gochesa ne team ya Grimsby. Pache sechi penalty chingie. Iko kerogo chaka kwa omo gosorie penalty ya chese you have to think wide. Keroko rigeri gwate boyo ni maite ngano shooting power ya togo chese penalty wena neiga. Unatumaliza sisi kama team and fans. Iko probably
amwereti actually amwereti kuchiase okoboko kwali nguokolio.
Wana ine yi yani negosoli no komwereti tuko matenga ngo inyo bwate. Definitely kero ebintu bune bigwa penia sense ya Kenya bantu batenga you match fixing. But probably you never know. You never know. Area Brazil no te yo montonga tari match fixing okoba. Na bwate Vinicius Junior na bwate babuka abantu bare energetic. Utika ndo mwako yo Bruno Guimaraes ni mzee. Weba tijana cheito bachite kusaini bakeri Bruno because batabwati Bruno nara ukaliko win chikwere ole master of assists. Waretere Bruno roba verose iri Bruno
babe kiro kuyana wensi pioro
lakini mbaro chimiaka nonye miaka yekira sama goti mbaro chimna rego struggle na Casemiro same midfielder you know ntombero to bwana to kwana ntubuna maybe fans intebe because I'm a fan, I'm a sports journalist. Ntombero to bwana to korigereri. Nonya bakorigi
amakosa ali amakama ke uranyare wepuka.
Bono.
Tachi ukoleta.
Nonya bakorigi abantu bari bwata experience. Nagoteti abantu abiga bari ko invest on young players. Tinteti ko point on the wins. Ngwaroche Miles Kelly oyo nde nakiakoroku. Lewis Kelly ngayaroche. Ngwaroche.
No arabu.
Tinte kukwana mange na kinate abana kinari ko
na wafcon kwanza
na kinari ko relate nate banga kero tora stiko so yechiga na saba subatu tori bona iga ntora chako go so sema na Bruno Guimares igo bono kero ikira se SMA yechi penalty takers, we need to think wide. Yuko twanya kwa bato go choose but kero to go chitwate abanga coaches go set technical bench ne bwate opportunity ri go choose ebinto mbira babwanta go bring into the place bari gereri kero oko make decisions akapa kero kuri nane teammate ya Kenya UAR Harambee Starlets walikuwa costed sababu abantu mbara batigete iskase school babo genetics shikangwa bengencho kero chako gotegemea babo Valerie Nekesa, they are good players but nuga nitike ntiko kunga squad depth again ntiko kunga squad depth ne kyo konye team, whichever the case, whichever the moment, whichever the time. Na bakonya no what opportunity ko kora a substitution tota for example kwa Rusiri midfield agete orengense kwa retro mongao o soiro change game game yanyare ko kora kike change because you never know. Iko mugwate chikocha nche maybe ntebenga ama dressing coaches mbabwate that opportunity na that power yoko rangeli players but nande kerba ko make decisions echiga tikababe wise.
Franka egekombe giacheta Cameroon chigoli ni sato sebosa abo sebabete bagusura etimu ya Malawi, and of course etimu ya Cameroon ekero kware ko lireria first half babete bago dominate sana, and of course bakamente ine game igwika omwerio gwika bagacha konyoru wechigoli isato ase ligena aliangoko asense yekero keria togokorera
kero gote makoligereria ase finali yabete ke gucheswa boli tukoligoro nabo konyara koranga etimu ya Cameroon yaringe prepared for this tournament. I think it's even the dominance of the game from the first minute to the end nabego koroking they were really prepared for it, and that is why banyorete ko tuara chinguru chuko bwero ke kombekyo. I think in check robochi so with the opponent 3-0 igona bego koroking you were prepared to ko buge game weye maite anene mone game nero okoligereria kwaranga eye maybe batisha go se game weye nere very competitive. I think oiso koligereria anene mono ekero oiso kubwa go se 1-0 ina be korokia go se kwa batisha kwa gwere yeyemo, meaning the opponent team it only that failed to score but they defended well. But bone kero konyoranga your team has scored 3 goals and the opponent there is this scored any goal, it shows you how unprepared the opponent team was. Ikobono ina be koroking Cameroon, they deserved to win that WAFCON of this year. And I think they have sent a message to these other nations singer. However, how little gosenga ibara cha kire no nyekerense anene mono buna timu bune ya Kenya baisiko beke bintu biri bibwenerete kubiko in place nabo anene mono nembara baranyole bago shine because the same strategy that Cameroon used is the same strategy that a team ya itaya basbatira to make nero kokoli buya sama tukale bosio igobo na se final ye na bongo tanga Cameroon, they really deserved it, and that is why they won 3-0.
And by the way, karokeria tokolira igoro yege kombe usechiko sari chiga chia WAFCON ya sensemeria batsubati numanye tena ensi ya Nigeria na erebwate ebikombe binge kekima asingi nchwekeraboni gani ebwate chitaito 10 Equatorial Guinea nigo ebwate bitato, Cameroon mboni yege tibibere, South Africa mbibere, Morocco ndimo na asu mwako 2024 by the way Morocco nero ya imogetie, and this time round naro oruche batigaletia sine na ande baswe final bira wate abana onye ndiri yari konyari karabaswe final bwangono baste bare gocha konyoruwo bwe timu ya Cameroon yarabereke gosuma sana na kotema sana omwako 2004 bayigete final, lakini bakoreti kwende banyoreke kombe 2014 baswete finali lakini akabona yabete 2016 bagaswe finali bakanyora obobwe lakini akarokolire timu yense ya Nigeria mara 10 ekerekeria namba ibere ekale namba 3 Maureen kie kwaro kiboneke
kerokorigereri amamirania ya AFCON na very competitive nonye timu ya Nigeria babwate bikombe bingi but nabokugeringa of late there's a way baring sake mbari that match performing endo kiage naro tenga Morocco mbabwate pa hand yo konyore kombe kyabo kya gatatu aso mwako iga 2026 it's because mbarabu bare defending ko mbarabaki muketi omwelio ngokero bwate kero kimuketi at last ngotwarore that energy yo kugana ndi gusiko muki you know that feeling teraera
lakini binto maunchera libuna Argentina nera yakorwa bono maite feeling eri muna ya ringa last bona kikibare gwetuma but it never happened like the fall at the side yabo maite sometimes so maite in this even tombero to correlate na life in this life to tebe ntonkero keriore used to na binga buna bone gocha ke goteba nga asana batake gotera nga Champions League era venga nendo digo quiero corro monto montare used to chiti muncho la bona Real Madrid mbare used to iki quiero kuba ko nga Champions League bakora nga kine yentege ne naro
lakini bora quiero kuba na Champions League ase team yaso na bakora nga nkie kibono nkie kibakonya kuyegolinga ne liga na bona likare ko Champions League mba maite nikekyo digo bono quiero ko digeri asense meyo ikina kiara yani kelinga mbabwate feeling eri ba kimo kiri
monsonoro
and we want that feeling bona monto taraoncha ginto there's no way ora chako mtenga litoke ngwanza liratanya koli ine the same way the same way ngota ifrank the same way ngota ifrank nga UCL nebia
neria akwiranirie bintu bunataliko bunetari in strategically asengenje kikwari kumubolia it was totally different from what she is explaining
so monto bwasa nonchomete tingwanja aitetebusigwana because you are UCL zero
ngoja twali ngiga actually kwenye ntora ikabu lakini bono onyeretire
but you are allowed to refer
it is good
reference
no it is good for you to refer
asogwenye bagano mutumuka ere to koira na tomanya kole mabana to senza eme iborongo
nte to so part you officially because Franco chakire waija kana iche na ko rifango tebanga muntu tara onchagente that's the reality Ishmael, do you agree
is doing she is trying to cover the story of Manchester go lose a game on the weekend.
Okay.
I think that is one way agotema goetera around the bush egerenga duji kumuikera
kara kiriri gati turaragenda ase omotimo komo ketarara ase omirichiduka na nyuma yo omirichiduka ntwerane kurwa gunto soe ase chigosori na bohigo isko yense ya Kenya na tuchikulira ase weekend yega na ki yaringe bale nekerero na bohiga nsemo yende bale no mogoko tuskare ne TV yao
Eye Ensoko TV, uboroso bw'umugusi. Chuo Kikuu cha Tangaza tumebobea katika kozi zifuatazo: PhD in Education, Masters in Theology, Bachelors of Arts and Communication, Diploma in Law, Certificate in Counseling Psychology. Tunafundisha TVET courses kama vile ICT, Diploma in Teacher Education. Tunafundisha lugha ya Kifaransa na Kijerumani. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana nasi katika anwani inquiries@tangaza.ac.ke au tupige simu kwa nambari 0722204724 au 0711713910. Unaweza kututembelea katika chuo chetu mji wa Karen, jiji kuu la Nairobi, Lang'ata Road. Tangaza University, kuelimisha akili, kugeuza mioyo na kubadili maisha. obulimira bw'essiro y'obunda bwense kulende tali nchira ndio sura krobolemi obyoke enyorera ribaga lya bene kwaegwa megerio chisemi nobosemia igoro y'obulimi bwekerero n'ekikolinga
ase obolemi bochete skuru nobotugi bokumerwa mache
tebone ng'ombe bune yengiya
ngaja konyana eyinsimegete nterangete amaraba ekonete ikonya gukina yo kamaraba konya kuyira nganya kwa mabuya
beka chibuti imokio bokombe tosoe mogondo bweli nebisumwime na pathwell machine
kile sukuri Jumaine chinsa ni bere chamurago ba wika chinsa isato asomuro bere oboremi nobotugi ekero turesemia mange kura saberemi chini gongoro kwa pathwell machine
asomuro bere boboremi nobotugi ime Ensoko TV oboroso bw'omugusi mirna nabali b'ekinguru erikwe manyabo na wataka kuruchitananya chinse Frida Kerubo, Innocent Onyango, Clinton Ondigi, Diana Ndemo, Ishmael Mogere, Linet Nyambane, Daniel Omwaga, eke nakige kos kiamesa yamangana maya. Eye n'Ensoko TV oboroso bw'omugusi.
Karibu na ndo mwanchomo riele mambia bano chida kana meronge 3 na ibere chinsa ya isano chabano mambia ayabwa atikene na chigosori ainara toko nyago kwanira emambia eyega abwa stoko chaka nege kombe ga FA Community Shield wikiraboni gabwo asiri tukurigore timu ya Arsenal ibare kwa kosori ya mona Manchester City and of course timu ya Arsenal bakanyarubo bwibwe chigoli isato asaposa yani yagosori yagoso tukurata bano mupira umupira ukaseruke dakika mupira ugachakaiga
5 seconds
alafu asense moyende transwanya na asense meyinjira gasori yaringe no kurarige kurumaga chitaito na kichire by the way wikiraboni ga timu ya Manchester United kirokolireria nigebwate chitaito 17 Arsenal chitaito 17 Liverpool 16 Everton nkianda Manchester City mara gatano na kabere Tottenham nebwate kane Chelsea in 4 Wolverhampton mara kane Aston Villa na ya Newcastle 1 Leeds United nebwata abo chitaito ibere West Ham mo Leicester ibere Brighton nebwate 1 Burnley nebwate ibere Blackburn Rovers nebwate chitaito ibere Sunderland Kemo alafu Portsmouth ne Kemo na sekero kolira recent winnings asobwango mono Arsenal na Roboniga ebwate kombe ekyo 2025 nigogia cheta mona Liverpool Man City 2024 Arsenal 2023 Liverpool 2022 na bakairura of course Leicester ingakielia wigete sana mwaka 2021 alafu Arsenal 2020 na boigo Manchester City 2019 gochimaga gochia magega toko chakira se ensemo eyo morin igoro yagosori igoro wikira boniga niko nakwanega mwatebana mupira nigo sera tuga bas amagosa agakorekana and of course nimetu kura ensemo ya toldi naga ni address the nation ahingo chiari gocha baadaye
at first ngoboni fans bari ngoma iteba Manchester City babale
fans
bari bagushabikiye timu ya Manchester City
oya momanye to toldi
what do you expect
babere nimanye to babere yo moko toldi no yo ndoko kwa baba zuri tuarocho mongwana ngaki muraibu ensa rikora ikarokerigia kyugo kwanere goro ya maroyensi yetu ya Kenya beyond 2030 ase ensemo ya KCC mungwana naralia uteneto begete counter suit ya yellow amo ne gofia ya Rastafarians orogote bana alikuwa rasurumo kano ena niga iburitwe ensemo ya Kibra mate gaiga gose wetra se Islam gocha etero ubugimo boko na ikagara gusira muraibu ensa sentunda ya kabere aumba bere manyete oyo kurwa toldi ogokora egepindi
oya
sana no kubaba zuri nereka nkoligereria oboroso bwae nigare rasavalia nera nsta mangana yechirige igo toldi nere tofauti te
abana abantu bari batari komanya utamanyerete ngakibari ndayo igo at first gato chake kero kurigereria Manchester City number 1 fans babo mbe maiti twaracha kira winde party ntangani fans babo mbe maiti okaba kero kurigereria the reason to why ngota mbe maiti mimi to yare ngona Thursday toldi abegete jezi ya Manchester City ali serious vitu koriyo nyande zawate maiki kango na kwete virata gete kango na tetenga tunamaliza hii mapema lakini wakamaliziwa mapema first half babeke chugulisa kwanza the worst thing is 25 seconds wamanyire ko bako mungwande this is eka kwamba go chiko win dande bikombe bitari ngobi bwate binge biri biguisanete una nalo chabana ba chagetenga Emirates twake bwire maramange tigatora getika no gotia
of course Man City babwate bikombe 7 bona
babwate 7 igo Man U babwate ne bikombe 10 Chelsea bakababwane bikombe 10 ngaite tobwate 17 ne team ya Liverpool igo kero kolgereri asi
Liverpool 16 of course Chelsea yare kale number 4 around kwenye kwanera
abantu bina bunto liko bakwanera
lakini bari namba asiondali tako igwa amocheni yako igwe na berabe
why in my talk you enter you just enter with someone who plays once in a month one game in a month yani babata one game atani igo game ya month in a month igo kero kuri aseke minane kyo kyarenge kya FA ase ritkore igoro team ya Arsenal mbanya teko bakoro kiego sorengia and they deserve the win okaba kero kuri kero kunyara kwa kwengero monto asichiscos cha 3-0 you've done a lot so you've done that much nonye egento maitenga ase team ya Manchester City endo kaya tabakanya kwa bago fail they were to win that it's because that transformation or say transition netaracha City mweri okoba ogosoka kwa Pep Guardiola nogosoka kwa Enzo Maresca okero korigereri Enzo Maresca ntoko underrate Enzo Maresca is one of the abanafunzi ba Pep Guardiola the same way Ateta is one of abanafunzi bari oyonde Pep Guardiola arego funza ase sema iga ya coaching okero kuri abanafunzi ba ebonsi bari amaitego kera ale komo team take over na amaitego umuntu you can do something igo kero kuri gereri asike minane kikiri tukori igoro team ya Arsenal deserved it because again tukiagerete team ya Manchester City bakanya kwa kwengeru number 1 ukuwa nire goalkeeper yabo Donnarumma nigo korachi tegari segetika re blank tabwate kende tabwate tactic kende akora ebon and then the other thing kwa nire about defenders kwa nire babo Nico O'Reilly oino mo gosorio miatu anyal kwa batoko rigeria season yeta mpaka kanyal kwa konyore chance kwanza in the hands of Nico O'Reilly Arsenal suffered but after last season so that is why we didn't expect that from us team wayo but totally it's all about that transition kero korigereri team wayo na no korigereri ratings chiabo sharing very poor kero korigereri Donnarumma bwate rating ya 4.5 it's so poor alafu kero korigereri nechi defenders no nyane Erling Haaland umete gentoke monga jite ase Erling Haaland bintu bine bya pre-season whatever he has nothing to do with them abako boro kinga mimi ni flop lakini tige season ya chake dalio kumanyanga muntu litali muntu eline robot nalia gosiko mpaka gwa 10
iko bana akora na inde World Cup na arana no konya komosiere lakini he performed well neri atanya rote opportunity yoko gandira guchimutu bwango anyaro opportunity yoko mikinyona ya kwenda semeria ya golden boot iko
Erling Haaland the one thing I trust in Manchester City nonya abantu bakonya goteba naroche fans ba Chelsea bakotenga now the threat remains to be Ateta in the Premier League EPL but you know Karika is a threat Karika is a threat Maresca is a threat Maresca is the only EPL coach onyaleko bagagwa Luis Enrique nande kere finally Luis Enrique doesn't lose in finals korare it's very rare korare lakini yanya atakabage okora kikigwikira nanga Enzo Maresca is the only coach because I trust in Enzo Maresca kuira City mwiri Manchester City Manchester City is my third team
after Manchester United
after Liverpool my third team my first team is Manchester United my second team is Liverpool my third team is Manchester City because kero korigereri yani the way ngo chibanga chiti mchiane ase meri EPL. I don't say that ngango chi own chance
abonsi nkwigune bakoraro kuna United alternative
United opposition Arsenal abakera wachiramo against Arsenal naro chinga bagotenga naro chimi mgete yari online yari goteba ngakorwa Stefan Arsenal nga sai wacha tupige kelele sisi kama Manchester United na kina Chelsea na kina Liverpool lakini ikifika January tumeanza kusupport Manchester City. Who told them? Mbama I think this is our season. Tuna Manchester United, bono Man City na wacha to back maybe. You never know. Igo ase kemino kerit kore goro FA showed that officially the EPL is starting. Igo abaika bakonya kuyake kubanga walishinda FA Community Shield Emirates Cup kero kunkia basinyete. No eba bwate bingi.
Nwara gakera nilia sobwango.
Tigambwatira abu na eresire gocha. Anene mono nchake kumo disqualify ni points chiri abere okwana concerning the ranking of managers. Buna chaka na manager Maresca. Inyoranga Maresca talien tunde ya entanga ni kororekana se league ya Premier League. Inyora this Maresca mekuwa Chelsea. Na ekera ale coach ya Chelsea, they played around 4 games na managed to win any game. But Arteta managed to score every game that the badges then Maresca. Na gacha como prove very bad okali Man City. So there is nothing like ogocha kontenga this Maresca will be a threat to Arteta. Ekero moguchi as a coach 5 games to win it any. Eya moyo kanero go draw ne coach you. So how threat are you becoming to this man that has won you 4 games? I would draw nere game wayamo. So for Enzo Maresca, I disqualify you. Nande tigangote for a fact thing. If there is a manager that urajigo to at this time we as Arsenal, nda kwanero mo coach Liverpool Ariola. Asingi junior buna Ariola kare timu ya Bournemouth
Andoni Iraola
nero inakwana inyoranga kare Bournemouth taluse tieni game so onju se kuinyora boigo igo bono oinere coach tora tebu bwate experience gi saina ase Premier League ora jiko dishie coach buna Arsenal. Remember this Arteta no mwanafunzi opep buna ikagukwana na nne mono ikirasi nkonyoro uri muri abanafunzi abange mwensi n'abanafunzi bo mwalimu but how is your performance naro konyora play
tinda tebanga atara endale tinda tebanga Maresca ngochi ariko betrate ya ase oyonde ase Arteta. Have I said that? I haven't said. Ena tebirega naro che fans bagotenga Arteta nere etreta se chitim cha EPL bono iga oyore fan ya Chelsea opposite status na inche ngateba ncho mwenye according to me Carrick is the threat because as the big 5 mentioned the team yakire Carrick mention
Carrick experience inge ya bwate na Premier League Carrick Arsenal ne agete Carrick akakuja akapiga Arsenal so they drew because ulinipiga home nikakupiga home.
No, it was Amorim.
No,
to correct you
Amorim ni sawa let us give him time that now amekuja ndio huyo amepigwa na the same Amorim that you sent away with the fact that Ingaki this is not the best coach that we want this one uyibona mu asereti akachaka kwaka 4-2
because ntora ikasepate ya Amorim goikore team ya Manchester goikora Carrick
arara korera kwanza sema
tigara korera sema you I mentioned that team ya nyari kwa mwe waka Carrick
asitwalenge kukwana asitwalenge nese FA asitwalenge ya community
twalenge naki kinari rate na te banga coach tayo nonya ya igete igonga Maresca kanyara kwa baka kwenda Arteta
irabona ngorankore actually ekero tukurigereria egemu yegoro actually nabo yaringi egemu ingia na Arsenal they dominated the game actually Man City baringi gali kominyoka geti koriyo mupira asengenjo oiso kurigereria from the first minute to the end gendongeli Man City baringi okora gali and actually even the same Haaland that we used to know mwaro jinjira nonye Ben White yako mobuli mayagali so eina bego koroki nga Arsenal bado they are prepared for this season na prepare for more because the same way gwakwanira muino galinga once kwa winirie gekombe ke next gogocha kobwate that obwansu bolinga na nde koikange bugoli so it is not becoming now to Arsenal bono ikirasa no ngabono Arsenal nande bono baragubwansu bombabo tageti na abatu prove it because waka Man City nyora Man City ene team ya beta namba ibire. So this is a team that competed with them to the last minute, except mpaka chige mwange isa tochio mwiso ba igete bakalemeu. Iko bono Man City atuwezi sema walipigwa ati juu walikuwa wabaya. Man City ni wazuri, but it's only that the tactics chia teta na chichia overpowered tactics chia mokocha Maresca. Iko bono asi game area na boko ranga Man City, they were really down, and nande isukuligelinga they are not really prepared. And we can't expect much from them for this season. Now that the best coach that we used to know, Babwate, Yurenge Pep, Tayo, Njirate Doraji Kutwara hopes na Maresca, o Chelsea, ya sereti. Suno, unaona. So, Gentungeli na ande Maresco yara tatenga, and now that for the time the Premier League, akolidege kone kikucha kotokosanga bono, he deserved to be the coach of Manchester City. I think there is somewhere ba miss it. They want to look for someone else who has a better experience than Maresca. But for them, I saw it posted yesterday, the end of an era. Actually, it is the end of an era because that era that we used to know Manchester City, it is now coming to an end, like the era that Manchester United lost when Ferguson went. Because after Ferguson with Manchester, actually it became the end of their era. Now they are struggling to build a team again. So for Manchester City to come up, team compete for the titles, it will take them time. Okay. But with this Maresca, kupigwa itakuwa sana.
Aso wenge morena asingin chuchida ikatubate gando chena nisa tochoka tuike o moerio. Of course okwanire na enkwananira abwa kwanire na the end of Ferguson usoko kenda kwa Ferguson singin chumu tumukolende miaka ya nero kwenye ikire basi it was the end of Manchester United mbondo liende timu ekonya koroswa AC Milan ayigo yekere Manchester United kanyaka inye ase ibere
Ishmael tokwane gentekemo inga mwago
yeah,
I'm your wife for example I'm your wife toikire twagosande naye na achire kwaretero musibati omongao kwararire nje no musibati otwanyoranire ere mbwanga chete nyombe yu nje no musibati ingoma ite nyombe yu bia tarinje
oliko nyoro
tarinje Amorim nero renga team ya Manchester United kere season ya rego chaka kere season ye chagete by the way I always thank Amorim go cha team ya Manchester United
you are giving relevant examples
you go kata Amorim I thank Amorim no chena kiye ko gara na ro kata
aba bana kwa nyenero manyite nyombe yu ni
ama ite
nero maita
kwa una mwanda iri na akiri na rotigiro kwani statetico ena
let me protect you
statetico ena natanteke I don't want any protection that is why whatever noroche kero kurigereri Amorim even tombiro to went kwa na to be realistic we are sports journalist to went ko markatebe nga omakocho no nya ocheta seti mwega igen tukegeta Amorim magateba ne ria ta ire task ria ko baki era tebe tukwera ne manager keria ko teba nganta iteke ngole rueke that's what happened Amorim akagenda no ne gente kia kuana agenda review Enzo Maresca ta seri likorua team ya Chelsea Enzo Maresca irusetio ko baringa se kwerende press agateba akaboli bunga toigule buna pepa go chigosoka nayo go chigoteka over team ya Manchester City Maresca agateba ninje kerach kuira na abanyana bakamuboli igure 92 ikabirengeli bya gobire Man City ikobono koraki make a decision era agateba decision yana nchono kwenda Man City na hivyo ndiye alitoka akufukuzwa ina agreement ya ringe the same way ngoteba Amorim we are sports journalists tikatoba realistic Amorim no nyore tete formation area back 3 as APL he taught players for Manchester United kerogo attack mwens kerogo defend mwens yeye nyate ko bakoleta composure nogo tulia kwa game ase team ya Manchester United oba kero kulige bado the same way yeli atigate team kero it's the same way they are playing nilichi tactic ngego chia mentiru na back four yeli iranigu kwarorire okoba ariko bata muache sa momete nga mayegagali mubwati bantu ega tukia mbulete ne holding midfielder kero kulige yako chaka kwa na bobegoro ya Amorim is the guy the only guy unyato ko baka ko bomuchano I remember our first match season ya 2024-2025 tuliwashika the entire season hakuna kitu Arsenal wametuchezea tumewachezea game zote naonye banyata kwa bako tubwa 1-0 but ile game wali feel I think nano murigereri yo nyata kwa bako kurigereri game weyu anajua na ana understand iko keroko kwa naranga Amorim go waka Karik hiyo ni nyumba yake nama itenga na ngo tagolira ganso ke no ngweta guchigaiga nyike asechwere
okay
iko bono kera agetese team eri ya we accept the fact nga nina igo bakorelete batanga team Chelsea yagete Man U te konyara okora kikuwa kanga 3-0 ni bakiru 4-2. Do you know in this ase ensema iga ichiko sori mpira udunda
batinga yobo kora burabo nga team Chelsea yagire Man U te ko yaka. Where is the lie?
mention it team Johnson and
Where is the lie?
yes
No, we are talking on something that is on table now.
Hey, mention
AC Milan ikaakwa na Chelsea 3-0. AC Milan kuikira Man U kanyaka 4-2. Meaning
ya verbo
meaning I first asked I mentioned it team chiri Chelsea I mentioned it team Omata Frank atete mwiraneri ngomubulia maswali atano ruka nje mwiraneri eri because I'll answer
okay,
because definitely asense moyo gokorera there is nothing in Chabuno Manchester United fan kelkere meane mono nchubune Manchester United fan I'll never accept konyarukoba yingo bune Arsenal fan sababu kwa iguro chakiri watanga Maresca kende nke yakorete Maresca kanyarukoba gakorete emiakere nga Maresca bete Chelsea nemiakere nga teta be Arsenal Maresca alileta conference conference you Arsenal batakorete batabuati number 2 akanyarukoba gakoba make bakoba barabi world champions elite world champions irete kurwase amagoko Enzo Maresca. Because there's nothing you can trust. Maresca is the same student ya renge buna Pep yani buna teta renge student ya Pep. Nande it takes time. Maybe buna teta take all this period when you go win this one Premier League. Maybe it will take time for Maresca but we trust in the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aso kolera Franka season yenye ngo cha kere bwango iga. Apart from Arena the big five Michael Arteta Toche Alonso bonsi pigocha gocha Oche Iraola Osoire Kari Kinwara bonsi pi apart from the top 5 etimu ya munaende irache chande sana oye mogo seibire chiago kerokeria ogokorera because timu nchiri chete muna chiabo Hull City mete chiatire bono cha soira se league.
I think timu nda kulingana na signing so maite kero kote makoreti timu okora ligiriringa how far they have gone in the market with their signings. Wesi kuligiririe timu buna Tottenham last season actually mba performed very poor mpaka wakaamba kogenda isiko ye league but now bairanire na enchira na rolite ba kodre their signings they are showing inga they are coming for this thing now na mbali guchiko babono chi underdogs buna ba rorekanite ko baba lenge the previous season.
Okay,
so I think tuiso ko baligere mono hata wao watasumbua sana hii season.
Okay,
yeah bwana
etimu ya mogo seibere chirache chichanda season yeye
korengana na inje woniga kerokorire ndo gwate timu iga ya Graham Potter ndo gwate etimu iga korkunga Everton the same way ndo chenga nebara bumbare prepared mpaka bache ko chanda etimu iga ya Aston Villa ya Unai Emery ndaliko yetika maiga mpaka yecho ko chanda ke akoba kerokorire nonya ne timu ya Tottenham Hotspur ndo bantu ko ika tunonya se the top 5 akoba kerokorire the same way Arsenal mpaka ko season lakini mimi baba kulete nini.
Okay,
ani kerokorire bado transition kocho yochomo you never know koba because so far ngonya ko lose bali.
Okay,
but I think alisema out of the top 5 which team are you seeing era chigo challenge igobona tingira ndredi swali elinga among the top 5
okay,
out of the top 5
ya turarate neraga gwase se bono nyabano mancho muligere yaso gusanga to sangre emambia ya bono nekeminana nesiginye nemina etanyare ko era sembeo especially ekero bwate abatiote rebero ya moni garase no ya moni gare Manchester United na boigo manya okara magoso obweke oyo Manchester City gatigati lakini wiki gocha bas nechebe ebuse asebono abuno mwerio Erian Ishmael Mogere.
Eye ne Ensoko TV. Oboroso bw'omugu